Scarlett is the other one who won WCS Canada.
Oh my God! I think Scarlett's the best player
in North America.
Yeah, in North America for sure. And I think Scarlett is in the same league as Nerchio and Stefano.
I got to cast her so many of her games for the WCS. My God, is a beautiful. She only lost one game, by the way.
To Huck?
No, she 2-0'd Huck.
It was a zerg. It was
a Stogie.
Yeah, it was a ZVZ.
And that game, I was casting it.
Stogie all in the same all in three times.
No. A Stogie used a Nidus Worm, and she just didn't see it, and she lost at that. She was way ahead, like 3 base against 2 base. She had everything covered. Mass Zerglings, mass Infestors, mass Spine Crawlers. She just didn't see the Nidus Worm coming in the back of the main, and she lost.
Yeah, we're casting as EVZ, Andre, so we could talk a little bit about that kind of style, that Zergling Infestor style. And I really think when you talk about pioneers of that style, you have to go back again to the Stefano. But Scarlett does it differently.
Yeah.
She only gets a single Evo chamber, and she only gets attack upgrades.
Yes.
It's so bizarre, and it doesn't seem like it should work, because the armor upgrade gives you better fighting strength against Banelings. It means you don't die in 2 shots to roaches. Whereas the attack upgrade just, it lets you hit harder. But the real brilliance is she saves so much gas that she gets a faster hive and super fast Ultralisks. And for some reason, it does work.
And she uses the +3, the adrenal glands, prematurely. You're not expecting that at all. And all of a sudden, Ultras pop out with 2 armor.
Yeah.
Or actually, based, they have their extra base armor. So they have a lot more armor in there. And that being said, the Ultras are able to do so much damage because they have that +3 attack as well. So it's really quite amazing the way she just defends the whole game with Zergling, Infestor, Spine Crawler, and then pops in these Ultras all of a sudden, and it's just like a slingshot. It goes the other way, and all of a sudden she has map control. She has the ability to attack you, and you're playing defense for the rest of the game.
That's so true, man. I mean, Immortals are really good against roaches. They kill roaches so fast. An Immortal will kill a roach faster than anything else in the game, I think. But an Ultralisk will kill 5 roaches faster than an Immortal. Oh my God,
yeah. It's crazy. Now, I don't know if ViBe has been working on that build, to be completely honest. I haven't kept up with them, but what I do know...
He still plays a roach-centric style.
The majority of the times, he does practice in the Korean server. So he is skilled up against very, very potent players.
Absolutely. We do see a pretty early gas out of ViBe and also out of CatZ. A little bit slower on CatZ's side. He's just trying to get that economy going as much as possible. And gas timings are so critical in ZVZ because the faster you take gas, the longer you're not mining at full efficiency on your minerals. And that's actually what charges your early game. The amount of queens you get out, the amount of spine crawlers you may or may not be able to build, and frankly, the amount of zerglings you can get out. So I do think that CatZ got the better end of this opening. He's not going to have zergling speed as fast as ViBe, but as long as he is able to be properly reactive, I don't think it's going to matter.
Talk about this first Overlord positioning for me, because I'm a little bit confused with how this is positioned. What is this trying to accomplish over here? Because
this Overlord is so important, Andre. And if you notice, that Overlord is just in range of that gas geyser. And so what ViBe is doing right now is he's spotting and keeping track of how much gas CatZ is mining. And that doesn't tell ViBe precisely what CatZ is doing, but it does tell ViBe, okay, he has not stopped mining gas after starting Zergling speed. Yes. Therefore, there is more to this plan than just Zergling speed. So ViBe is now expecting some Baneling play from CatZ.
Exactly. And, you know, I say this time and time again, StarCraft isn't a game of knowing what your opponent is. It's knowing what your opponent is not capable of. And then from there, defending or, you know, making actions against the range in which your opponent is capable of. So that's exactly what ViBe is doing. He's not looking what exactly his opponent is going. That's a luxury. He's looking at what his opponent is capable of, and from there, he will make the associated units, whether it be defensive Banelings, defensive Spine Crawlers, or just positioning all of his Zerglings on his opponent's side so CatZ can't walk Banelings all the way over. He needs to use all of them for defense. He's going to make actions. We're going to see what ViBe does in a little bit.
Yeah, right you are, Andre. A couple things did just pop out for ViBe. He's actually going to have a bit of a fighting strength advantage. We can see more units out for him than for CatZ. He's also morphing a lot of Banelings at the front. Now, CatZ is getting a couple of defensive Banelings. He also has 3 queens out and a spine crawler. So I really favor CatZ's position here. Unless ViBe makes a substantial mistake in his control, or excuse me, unless CatZ makes a substantial mistake in his control, I think he's going to be fine.
And there he goes, waddling in. Where's he going to go? Oh! Wow. A little bit of craziness going there.
Here we go. Baneling's coming in again. And
very nicely
good
controlled.
trades there for KatZ, and he will pick off every one of these Banelings. Beautiful transfusions. A single Baneling does survive, but it's not going to matter too much. Those drones just have to be repositioned momentarily.
Oh, very nicely done. Uses the Baneling to actually kill a lot of larvae. That's a potential unit. Let's look at what's been done. 5 workers killed at the end of that income tap, showing 40 to 33, with the slight advantage going to ViBe. But right now he's sacking all of his zerglings just to get a scout. I don't mind that.
And this is pretty critical here, and you know, I think he's killed enough to make it worthwhile. He was droning behind this. He's now at 49 drones to 34, and now KatZ is the guy that has to kind of punch back. But what we can see is, you know, while KatZ was defending, he made this big swell of units. So he has 16 zerglings right now that ViBe doesn't have. This forces ViBe to make units. So
wow. Yeah.
It's in this period of time that KatZ is going to recoup those drones that he lost there, and he's going to do some damage to ViBe as well.
Yes. 22 zerglings were in production here. Baneling's actually starting immediately. Very nicely done by ViBe. A lot of people would just go and try to attack, but you have to realize that, yeah, KatZ could have been making Banelings all behind this. I need to prep a defense for this, and that's why he made them immediately.
Oh, about face. Queens will pick off the Banelings there. KatZ has more Banes morphing, and he's going to try to create an opening so he can sneak in there. But ViBe's looking pretty good. Great micro.
A ton of units. Wow. Oh, wow. Even more coming in there. 11 total drones dying from that engagement. Beautifully played by KatZ. And look at that. Just like that, he swoops into the advantage. 47 harvesters now to 37. Spire Tech is just about halfway done.
Wow, man, that is a nice move there by KatZ. Any disadvantage that he faced from that initial damage has been offset. He now has the superior economy. His Spire is going to be done. Though, I have to say, ViBe has Infestor Tech already coming, Andre. He started his pathogen glands upgrade. He'll be able to start Infestors in about 10 seconds. And Infestors are just a far superior tech to Muta. Now, what Muta do give KatZ are map control.
Yes.
Like, there's nothing ViBe can do about this third base right now. There's literally nothing. Anything he makes that would just die to the Mutalisks. So KatZ is going to be able to take some map control. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage. In terms of like inside the base of ViBe, but it is going to basically secure his lead so long as he's smart with his units.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mutas are great with maintaining a lead. If you do some huge economic damage, tech to Mutas. That's like the #1 thing to go. Just because you can get, as you said, map control, you can get your third base, assuming that you have the lead, over your opponent and do a ton of damage. You can also do it in very minor positions when you're behind, just trying to get back into the game. But, you know, it's kind of, I wouldn't say even, because KatZ did get ahead from that engagement, but it is kind of, you know, not that big of an advantage. So I have to wonder, you know, how many mutas he is going to make, and if he does make too many, like even this, 7, I think actually that's the perfect amount. If he goes over 7, I think that's a wrong choice. He should be switching over to Roaches and Infestors pretty soon here.
Well, what you said is so smart. The critical thing here is that KatZ doesn't overcommit to these mutas, because Infestor is still the inferior tech. Infestors are eventually going to catch the mutas and kill the mutas, even with superb micro. You want to have Infestors, as KatZ is going to try and deny this third expansion. Infestors aren't out just yet. And with Zerglings and mutas, he may... Oh, Infestors are out. I spoke too soon, and this could be a problem. Chain fungal.
And he's going to go for it. He's going to get down the hatchery.
Yes.
Very nicely done. And from here, I mean, it's very hard for ViBe to start a counterattack just because his main form of defense or offense for the air is Queens. So what can he really do? I mean, you could go through the middle and try to blow that down, but it's so difficult. He has to just play the standard macro game, giving KatZ that extra, 2 minutes of gas time over him.
Yeah, it's a huge deal right now. Now, KatZ is a little bit oversaturated in his natural. He should really consider sending some drones down to that third base. But beyond that, he's transitioning so smoothly, adding the macro hatch, getting the roach upgrades. He's a little bit behind ViBe in the roach upgrades, but his economy is going to allow him to just produce a superior number of units. Already, he's got a roach lead. He doesn't need any more drones for the rest of the game, Andre. He can just max out from here. And ViBe's the one that has to play catch-up. He has to create something to force KatZ, or something to force the game to equalize. Now, the Infestors do that in a way. It's very hard to attack into Infestors, but ViBe's still going to be feeling very uncomfortable for a long time.
Exactly. And, you know, if you rely on your opponent attacking poorly, that's actually the worst way to actually come back into a game. You need to actually make something happen. A lot of times these players just say, okay, just wait until my opponent attacks, wait until my opponent attacks. Well, what if you get a situation where your opponent doesn't attack? You're just compiling your disadvantage. So what you need to do is, yeah, throw some infestors into the field, start burrowing them, be like CatZ. Yes, be like CatZ. You're in root, come on, ViBe, come on. But instead, actually CatZ is going to try to attack here. Now, he does give room for, you know, obviously his opponent to get back in here. Actually, with the amount of infestors and queens that are out on the field, I actually think that this might be not the best situation for CatZ.
CatZ has got such great map vision right now. He's 50 supply ahead of ViBe, so infestors or no infestors, the ViBe, like CatZ would have to make the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
Like there's just. This is the hardest defense for ViBe. This is the critical moment. This is like the big timing that CatZ has. He's going to hit a little bit before his +2 finish. Oh, and he does catch ViBe out of position.
But he's getting insurance as well. He's taking down that expansion at the 4th base over the right-hand side. But beautiful fungals onto these infestors over here. He's almost going to kill them, and instead a couple of infested Terrans are going to pop out here. And what can ViBe really do? Yes, he'll clear up all these roaches over here, but look at the 3rd base. It's getting wrecked. Yeah,
3rd base is getting wrecked. The hatch should be focused right now. CatZ is actually hitting an extractor. Finally, he does get back to it. More units coming into the natural will be dealt with infestors, queens, and roaches. ViBe should be able to hold his front. The problem right now isn't the front, it's the back. That hatch is going to take some transfusion.
Can he get it? Yes, he will.
Yes, it will absolutely fall. And, you know, this is just more of the same, Andre. CatZ compounding his advantage. It's the second time he's killed that 3rd base.
And, you know, CatZ making the right decisions. I really felt like the infestor count for ViBe in the beginning was just so overwhelming, but CatZ proving why he is a zerg, you know, specialist. I know time and time again he's talked about this. Yet again pushing up here, and looks like he's going to clear out the WCS North America winner.
Yeah, ViBe's got a great concave at the top of that ramp, so he will manage to successfully defend once again. CatZ forces another cancel on that 3rd base, and while all this has been happening, he's secured a 4th. So his economy is just booming right now. Hasn't done anything like tech up to Hive or done any craziness in that regard. The thing that he could really... CatZ has double infestation pit. You're so silly, CatZ. The thing that he could really do to lock down this game is make a Hydralisk Den, and just Roach Hydra Infestor is practically the strongest fighting army you can get before Hive 10.
Yeah. So we'll see if, you know, ViBe actually pushes forward from here. Looks like he's not going to. It's a really tough situation. Like, a lot of people would say, well, this is my best bet right now because I was so cost efficient. Let me go and try to trade, saying that, you know, obviously I'll have equal units to my opponent and try to get some economic damage done, or just continue defending and really work on my efficiency. If you look at units lost, CatZ has actually lost, you know, almost 2,000 more. Actually, a little bit more than 2,000 more than his opponent. So if he just continues this, maybe he is in a good position.
Well, you know, ViBe has done a pretty good job of getting back to a playable position. He is at 170 supply against the 190 of CatZ. That's not, you know, him holding and coming back is not unfathomable from here. But CatZ is going to push that advantage right now. Getting caught in an awkward position, though. ViBe appears to have superior numbers, and CatZ is going to lose a handful of roaches. Look at the infestor count for ViBe. Holy smokes. 11 infestors out on the map for ViBe. CatZ right now is trying to transition into Hydras, as we discussed. But ViBe has done the same, Andre, and all of a sudden, he's kind of clawed his way back in here. Man.
It's because he kept all of his infestors from that huge engagement that happened, you know, just minutes ago. Whereas I know CatZ lost a couple of his infestors. He didn't lose all of them, but he lost a couple here and there. And all of a sudden, yes, CatZ does have the upgrade. No, he doesn't have that upgrade advantage. Excuse me. +1 is just about to finish for ViBe. ViBe is a superstar, man. This is why he is the WCS winner.
Yeah,
I could have sworn CatZ
had
an insurmountable lead.
And if you just look at the armies, it looks like ViBe's got a better one.
Yeah.
And the reason, believe it or not, is because he has less drones. It's 67 drones to 76. And at the end of the day, that's army supply that CatZ is lacking. Although CatZ has got a great concave set up here. And ViBe's going to have to be very careful about attacking into it. The primary rule of ZVZ is don't attack Andre, and it looks like KatZ might have just made that mistake attacking into ViBe. He's very clumped up, and the Infestors are going to come up from behind, and look at the Fungals that are going to go down. Oh, tense moments here. Infested Terrans dropping, Fungal going off all over the place, but it's ViBe who's going to stay maxed, and KatZ is putting himself into a very awkward spot.
Losing so many Infestors right there, and look at how many Infestors ViBe still has. The Infestor control is absolutely immaculate now on the 4th base. So many Infested Terrans popping out here, and the 4th base of KatZ is going to go down. Are you kidding me? ViBe, you are playing like a madman. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, brilliant play here from ViBe, just capitalizing on a few of the mistakes that KatZ has made, and now ViBe is maxed out. He's going to try and deny this expansion, although KatZ has reinforcements streaming in. I think he's actually going to hold here.
But another round of reinforcements coming out here for ViBe. He just needs to collect all of his units together. A ton of roaches. Look at this. Oh, and the Hydra's going to burrow. Are you kidding? That's so cute, man.
Hydralisk ambush.
Yeah.
That's right. Let's trade 4 Hydras for 1. Good idea.
No, man. He saved 3 of them. He's good. But look at how many Infestors he still has. Units tab shows 11 to 3. That's the mark of truly great players. Just hallmarks of a great player.
Yeah, you're so right. The cost effectiveness of ViBe is just unbelievable. If you look at resources lost, 7,000 difference between these two, and ViBe is going to continue to be cost effective as he pushes forward again, dropping Infested Terrans, forcing KatZ again to disengage and forcing more awkward engagements for the team captain of Team Root. And ViBe is just, you know, he's showing why he is the ace of that organization. This 4th base will fall. KatZ managing to burrow the drones and hopefully save them. But
God,
I don't know if anything's going to save him from defeat at the hands of ViBe.
Roaches and Hydras just pouring in. Now, even KatZ has a 2-2 advantage, but it's 3 base against 4 base. And there is a couple Infestors actually running amok that I missed going into the main, the natural. It looks like it did hit the 3rd base ever so slowly, but they are not enough. Units tab, let me look at the Infestor count, 5 to 11, and I'm pretty sure Hive Tech is up. Is Hive Tech up? Yep, Hive Tech is up for...
It is definitely done for ViBe, though. What is he going to use it for? He hasn't started a Greater Spire. He hasn't started an Ultralisk Cavern.
There it is.
There's the Greater Spire. So ViBe just moving into the end game. KatZ right now still stuck on a Roach army. Now, one thing that I will say, if you overcommit to Broodlords in late game ZVZ, you can get killed by a more mobile army. Just by running you
by
around.
roaches, which is crazy.
Exactly. So ViBe has to be a little bit careful of that. Don't overcommit to the Broodlords. Always be sure to keep enough forces on the ground to be able to challenge your opponent. You don't have to have a better ground army, just enough of one to buy yourself time for the Broodlords to arrive.
And especially on a map like Daybreak, where there's 3 separate places for your roaches to actually swing around, whether it be, you know, just walking or even underground. Don't forget, they can be very, very tricky. You know, it's really important not to, as you were saying, overmake those Broodlords, because you can easily just be attacked over here. I lose all my roaches, and voila, all of a sudden I have a ton of Corruptors, and I can just hard counter all of your air. Something like that. And obviously not so trivial like that, but something similar where you can basically sack all of your roaches, free up supply, remove an expansion from your opponent, and then make very, very qualitative units. Is that the right word?
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about. The right unit composition.
Make the better army. Good units. Build good stuff.
Yeah. Build good stuff.
ViBe is going to go ahead and max out with 5 Broodlords. 5 going to be the magic number, and I think that's a good one.
Yes, me
It's
too.
just going to give him that much more depth in his fighting strength. KatZ at 170 supplies, still trying to muster an adequate response. I wouldn't mind Neural Parasite at this stage of the game. Might as well, since you got double infestation bit.
Ooh. And I'm sure ViBe right now is wondering if this Overlord has an Ultralisk in it. It does not.
Unfortunately. Broods are going to come forward, and well, KatZ sees it because they're walking right over his creep, but what can he really do about it?
I don't know. It's really, really tough in this position. Does he have any Corruptors out in the field?
Look how
I don't
smart
think
ViBe
so.
is, just using Infested Terrans in front of his army. Just to function as something to absorb damage. Losing, being maybe
beautiful Fungals.
The Fungal.
And that's going to gobble up so many units over here.
KatZ trying to do what we talked about, trying to use his mobility, but ViBe did not overdo it with his Broodlord production, and he is actually Going to continue to replenish with more and more roaches. Just catching cats. Great fungals there. He's going to get a lot of roaches.
Now, ViBe does remove that hatchery, but that's, you know, just one small step as opposed to ViBe's giant leaps that he's taking every single time he removes any roaches and hydras from the field.
Every time they fight, it's a 30 supply swing. Right now, ViBe maxed out. KatZ at about 150 supply. And I think once again, he's going to be losing this 4th expansion. KatZ looks like he wants to do something with his Infestors. He's got a ton of completely maxed out Infestors. That's 9 Infestors with full energy. That could make a ton of infested Terrans. But still, you have to admire the tenacity of KatZ here, abusing the mobility like we talked about.
Taking out this hatchery in the top left-hand corner is exactly what you have to do, keeping your opponent on as small of a number of bases as you possibly can. But if you look at the units lost tab, that shows everything. I mean, I keep going back to this. Almost 34,000 resources lost for KatZ.
Oh, look at this. Infestors might catch these Broodlords. That could be the beginnings of a comeback.
Yeah, it could. Is it going to be enough, though? That's the big question. And he's going to pop Fungal and just target all these down. Very nicely done. Is he going to be able to get all of them? Oh, no! He loses the Infestors! All of a sudden,
it's not worth it anymore.
No, it isn't.
What looks to be a potential stroke of brilliance actually may end up being the nail in the coffin. KatZ had 9 Infestors. Now there's only the 1. Actually, there's a couple more back in his 3rd base. But still, lacking the strength to really challenge the army of ViBe. There's more great fungals going down.
Well,
but
that's
ViBe is better upgraded. He's got more army. He's got more economy. He's got map control. What is ViBe lacking right now? The answer, of course, is nothing.
He's great.
He's great.
GG.
GG comes out. ViBe takes out KatZ. KatZ takes 2 wins. Takes home $150, but ViBe grabs
Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
And, you know, that's really impressive play coming back from what we saw before. Obviously, KatZ removing the 3rd base, doing so much damage was just pure roaches and Infestors, I want to say. I thought it was an unwinnable situation, honestly. ViBe was just so far down. But with the Infestor retention and just staying out of battles, and then as soon as the battle happened, actually utilizing your Infestors a lot better than your opponent. And that's another crazy thing. ViBe used his Infestors better than KatZ.
Yeah.
He is known. KatZ is known for using his Infestors to the maximum potential.
KatZ made one real key mistake. And once you reach a point in ZVZ where the guy that attacks is actually the guy that's going to lose. Yeah. Because zerg is just so good at defending in ZVZ. Infestors just, like, if you're out of position, they catch you and they force you to take that fight. And that's what happened. KatZ he pushed forward in the middle. ViBe caught him, and he said, all right, I'll take this fight, and just crushed. And from that point forward, like prior to that, KatZ was okay, man. He was in he was in good shape, but once he got caught, it just started the downward spiral, and there was no coming back from that. So tough break for Paulo. Loses the Gauntlet, but showed us some great games. Still qualified for the voting at the end of
So, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. We still have one more match left.
Uno mas.
Uno mas. And it is actually against Minigun. It's going to be ViBe versus Minigun, ladies and gentlemen.
On Cloud Kingdom.
Oh, baby.
I'll tell you a funny story about ZVP on Cloud Kingdom.
When we come back. How about that?
All right, when we come back, guys, I'll tell you my funny story. Stick around. StarCraft 2, NASL. After this.